But most of all, I want to thank the people of Toronto St. Paul's for exercising your right to vote and making your voice heard. Now,
can he or will he?
Everyone has an opinion about Canadian federal politics.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Minister. Good to see you again. Thank you so much for making the time.
Thanks for having me, Bashi.
Minister, should the Prime Minister resign as leader of your party?
No.
Why not?
What happened to journalism in Canada? I don't know, but maybe it's on the comeback. I'm not sure if maybe just the corporate companies that own these media platforms have changed their tune and see that a direction is shifting, or maybe it's just the journalists and their personalities shining through, but they're asking the right questions, more demanding, holding the government more accountable, which is what we want. Like, to see, they have access to all the big players, right? So it's tough when you're down here trying to report on what they report on. When they don't do real journalism and you want to give real information, it's tough. But recently, things look a little bit better. There's been some of these interviews and questions in the scrums that didn't used to happen to the Liberals very recently. I don't know what's changing, something positive. It seems like we're getting access to more information. Let's take a peek, let's take a look and a listen. Maybe things are turning around. Who knows?
Walsh with the Globe and Mail. Deputy Prime Minister, can the Prime Minister still stay on to lead the Liberal Party into the next election, given that you just lost one of the safest seats in the entire country last night?
Yes, he certainly can.
Can you explain why? Because everybody we're hearing from behind the scenes believes that the result last night means catastrophic losses across the country. If you cannot win in Toronto under Justin Trudeau, why should anybody believe you can win anywhere else under him?
Our government is focused on working hard for Canada and Canadians and on delivering results for Canada and Canadians. That is what the Prime Minister is focused on. That is what we are all focused on. The Prime Minister is committed to leading us into the next election, and he has our support.
Next question.
Hi, Minister. Barbara with iPolitics. Still about last night's results in Toronto St. Paul's. Do you think the Liberals need a radical change in strategy and that perhaps a new leader in the party might be a necessary change?
I just answered that question. Let me say the Prime Minister is focused on delivering for Canada and Canadians. Our whole government is focused on delivering for Canada and Canadians. That's what we're going to continue to do. The result in St. Paul's is certainly disappointing. We knew it was going to be a hard fight. I think it's especially disappointing because so many of us know Leslie. We know how hard she and her team worked. And I do also want to congratulate Don Stewart. He and his team worked hard as well. We know that these are hard times for Canadians. We know that we have to work hard to earn back their trust.
This is Mike Cole, nailing Ryan Turnbull, who looks like he just got hit by the short bus. Ryan Turnbull's a goof.
Michael Cole, CBC News, on behalf of CBC Parliamentary Bureau. Can Justin Trudeau stay on as the leader of the Liberal Party of Canada?
Can he or will he?
In the wake of last night's, does he still have the confidence of the government or of the party?
Well, that's a good question. I think it's too early to tell that exactly, but I think that most of us support his leadership, and we always have. I think the Prime Minister has made it clear that when his time comes and he decides to walk away from the leadership, he will do so. But I don't think that now, I couldn't pronounce on whether he can lead the party in the future or not. I mean, I feel like he's a great leader. I feel like last night's by-election loss was a disappointment. So coming out of that, I mean, I think you're asking me to answer a question that I think is a little bit early. I think people are reflecting on, what that result means.
That didn't sound very convincing. Turnbull's a fool, but maybe he's done with Trudeau too. Didn't sound like he had Trudeau's back right there. Let's see what other hard-hitting questions and responses we have. Like I say, I think the media has turned it up.
Hi, Minister. Good to see you again. Thank you so much for making the time.
Thanks for having me, Bashi.
Minister, should the Prime Minister resign as leader of your party?
No.
Why not? I take your point. It was close. It was 500 votes, but it's a 24-point swing from the last election. And by the way, Carolyn Bennett won 9 of them in a row. Deputy Prime Minister yesterday, in advance of the votes being cast, said essentially that the Canadians in that riding had a choice between the Liberals and the alternative, which she characterized as cold, cruel, and small. Why would your government label opponents of it like that?
Well, I'm not going to speak for the Deputy Prime Minister.
Can you understand how Canadians might find that disingenuous? Yesterday, your government is calling people who supported somebody else cold, cruel, and small. And today you want to engage and listen to them. Do you understand how that might fall on deaf ears?
You don't have the best interests of Canada in mind. I mean,
then why is your party calling them cold, cruel, and small?
But this is where I think it's important for us to reflect on some of those lessons.
To be clear, you don't believe people who voted for the Conservatives in this election are cold, cruel, or small?
No, I do not believe that. I believe that Canadians make decisions based on, the best information that they have. And I genuinely believe that every Canadian is making a decision because they believe that they're doing it in the best interests of Canada. They just have a different idea of how to get there.
Before I wrap up, I would like to say a few words about last night's by-election. First, I want to thank all the volunteers and candidates for putting their name forward and participating in this important democratic exercise, including our tremendous Liberal candidate, Leslie Church, who ran a strong and positive campaign. I also want to congratulate Don Stewart on his victory in this tightly fought race. But most of all, I want to thank the people of Toronto St. Paul's for exercising your right to vote and making your voice heard. Now, this was obviously not the result we wanted, but I want to be clear that I hear people's concerns and frustrations. These are not easy times, and it's clear that I and my entire Liberal team have much more work to do to deliver tangible, real progress that Canadians across the country can see and feel. We'll never stop working and fighting to make sure that people have what they need to get through these tough times. My focus is on your success, and that's where it's going to stay.
So, gang, is Trudeau done? I don't think he is. I think he's going to change laws and do everything that he has to do to stay in power as long as he can until we get to go back to the ballot box. We need an election to get rid of this guy. That's what I think. Hopefully I'm wrong and something else will change that. The coalition might break down. I doubt that. But something maybe. I'm not a pessimist. I always have some hope. My name's Aaron. This is Question Period Canada. Trudeau has to go. Freeland has to go. Jagmeet. The whole crooked bunch. Like, subscribe, share, get notified. Love the comments. Aaron, Question Period Canada. We'll catch you next video. Justin Trudeau, Chrystia Freeland. What are you gonna do?
Before I wrap up, I would like to say a few words about last night's by-election.